Hi, in this video I am going to talk about form with CSS. So I am also going to create HTML form in which I will do some CSS, and because of which you will find out that this type of form you will get at last, right? So in this video we are going to create this form. So how this has been created, firstly I would like to show you the code and output of that. So this is the output that you are looking now, which we are going to create, that how this has been created, and the code behind this is this particular code. So this was the form that we have created in the previous video. If you haven't seen the previous video, please see that video. I have mentioned the link into the description. You can also find that video's link inside the description. And one more thing that I added in the previous video is text area, right? So in order to give the comment section, I have mentioned text area. Right now you can see this is the text area, right? So this text area, actually we have in HTML we have text area tag, using which we can create the comment section. So text area open, text area closed, and text area would be generated. One more thing that I like to mention is placeholder. Placeholder means, for example, you may have seen in few forms that inside the text box there is first name written first name in means dim color, right? For example, write something is written in the placeholder. Once I click on it and write on it, then that would be that would not be there inside the text box. Why? Because this is placeholder. This is only giving the hint that for what purpose this text box has been created, right? So for example, I have written placeholder is actually an attribute in which we have written write something. So that write something, or maybe the text inside of these double quotes would be shown on the screen. That would just only represents that the user could able to get the hint that what he need to put here. For example, you may have seen in the name section some people write down the name of any person, so that the user could able to get the hint that how means which name I need to mention, right? So now this has been created, and reset button and submit button already created, right? So now we are going to talk about the CSS. So I have mentioned this CSS. I want to delete this CSS right now. I want to do it from the starting point, so that you could able to see that how this has been created. So I would like to refresh this. So once I refreshed, this form is only HTML form and the CSS is not mentioned right now, right? So one thing I have done is, in order to maintain the form, I have given an ID. If you haven't seen the lecture of ID and class, you can also see those lectures on the channel I have already uploaded. So now ID I have given my form, and I want to give the CSS to every input element. So I have written a class, because class is common to all. So if we shall mention the class name, then we can also give the CSS. Once we shall give the CSS to a class name, then that CSS would be implemented to all those elements in which this class is mentioned. So I have given the class and name of that class. This input element is also type email, so I have also mentioned the class name. Then after password, we also needed this needed some CSS. So because of that, I have written class form style. Again, the name of the class is form style, right? So this is class, and this here I also needed, so I mentioned here. In gender I haven't needed, so I have not mentioned the class. And in hobbies I also have not mentioned. Why? Because this is not needed here. So in select box I have needed, because I want to maximize the this particular select box, right? And even give the color, or maybe border and anything, right? And padding I also can give them. So here I mentioned, and again here is text area. I have also given the class name. Why? Because I also want to give the CSS to text area, right? So now let's start. So we can give the CSS to the style directly, and even we have a simple and easy way to give the CSS, which is on console screen. So control F12, sorry, if you are using computer, then you can press the keyboard button F12, and if you are using laptop, FN, press FN and F12, right? FN F12. Then after you will find out this screen. And if you are not able to do like that, you can all right click on over here and inspect, right? So once you will click, you will find out this particular screen, right? So we want to do the CSS firstly on form. So ID is my form, so this is selected right now. So once we shall select this, and then we have to click on plus button. You may have I think you are capable to see plus button. Then after form, my form has been written here. So you can do one thing here, which is you can put only hash my form, and before that you have to remove. Then after, what you have to do is we have to give the background color, background yellow. So now you can look the impact of that. Then after we have to give the padding. Later on I will show you in the lectures of CSS that how the padding, margin and other things are different to one another, but right now whatever we have required I am going to mention, right? So padding is, for example, we are giving 50 pixel from left, right? Left and right, sorry, top and bottom, and 70 pixel to left and right, right? So if you want to see the change, you can also see the change. I am just pressing the upper key, so this is the change, right? If you have needed less, then you can also change. And here we have, if we have needed more padding from left to right or right to left, then this is also working, right? So right now we have needed only 70 pixel, and here we have needed only 50 pixel, right? So the next thing we have to do is margin. As you know that this yellow color, the full yellow color is not needed. We have to congest this, in the sense we have to make it smaller. So margin will help us out. Margin. So top and bottom is okay, right? Top and bottom we don't want to change. Why? Because in top and bottom we haven't any extra space, extra yellow color, right? So from left to right we have to change. So what we shall do is margin 0 pixel from top to bottom, and 490 pixel would be from left and right, right? So left and right margin is 490 pixel, and top and bottom margin is 0 pixel. 0 pixel means no change, right? So we have done this, and because of which you are looking the change, right? Now the third thing that you have to mention is border. Border, for example, you want to make it red, so you can do like that, 2 pixel, solid and red, right? And next property, font size. For example, you don't want to see in small size, so you can also give, for example, 20 pixel. So the font size has been increased now. So this is the CSS that we have given to the my form ID, means our form is okay now. So now we are going to work on the each element, right? So I am going to copy this particular code from here and going to paste to, you can also right click, copy and paste here, right? So you have to click on tab button, then you will find the change, right? So this is now okay, right? And the next thing is form style. So now we have to work on form style. So in how we shall do, we have to click on here and we want to click on any of the element, because everywhere we have mentioned the class. So now the class is form style and this is selected. Now once we shall click on plus button, then the form style is in front of us. Now we have to delete the previous portion and dot form style is now in front of us. Now we have to give the CSS. For example, I want to give the border to input elements. So the border is, for example, 1 pixel, solid and green. So the green border has been on the input. You may have seen this particular border of the input box, which is green. Now you can also change into other sizes, yes, you can also change to other colors as well, right? So the next thing that we have to do is border. We have done with that. Border radius. Border radius means this will make it circular. For example, I have mentioned 5 pixel. So now you can see that these input boxes are rounded from left and right, right? So this has been possible because of border radius. And the next thing is width. Width of every input box is 100%. So because of which this is going to be increased, expanded now. So now we have to give the padding. For example, you may have seen that this input box has less space. We are looking that this should have some width. So we need not give the width. We have the padding property. So padding will help us out, which is, for example, 5 pixel you are giving. So now this is looking good. So the 5 pixel padding you have given now. So I think we are okay with all the things that we have targeted before. So now what we have to do is we have to copy this code. Copy this code, and now we have to paste that over here. And using tab you can give the indentation, right? So now the overall CSS has been given to our form, and finally we are end up with our resultant form that we were expecting before, right? So this was pretty good form that you are looking right now. And what you have to do is you have to do the practice by your own, so that you could able to analyze that where I need to make changes and where I have to give more focus, right? Because this is something which is really useful in daily basis, right? Because in most of the cases, if you are learning web development, then definitely you would deal with the form. So at that time, if you would have the better concepts of the form, HTML form and CSS, how to apply the CSS, then definitely this will help you out, right? So hope you got the concept, and if you haven't seen the code, you can also see the code from here, copy the code, and even analyze that where I need to make changes and what are the basic things that I have to understand. So that's it. So you have to subscribe the channel if not subscribed up till now, and like the video if you have if you think that this was fruitful, and also share with the others so that the other could be able to get the benefit. So thanks for watching.